Hey everybody, this is Kirsten here. Thank you so much for joining me for this new episode of the Balanced Vibes podcast. Today we're going to talk about what are the things that you can do, actually stop doing if you want to improve your nutrition in general, if you want to take in better nutrients, if you want to feel more energized from your nutrition, and if you also want to make your fat loss and weight loss easier. You also want to have better control over your hormones because, as we know, what we eat, of course, always impacts our hormonal health. So if you want to just overall improve your health through nutrition, then here are some things that I really recommend that you stop doing and make a change here. And all the things that I'm going to mention today, of course, are the things that I see quite frequently in my work, either one-on-one or just the questions or comments that I get. So this is why I wanted to address them. Before I get started, as always, make sure that you are a member of my Fit and Fuel Facebook group. You can join today. There's just a couple of questions that I'm asking you to answer, and then you are in the group, and then you get more access to other resources that are not shared on Instagram or even on the podcast. So make sure that you join that group. Okay, so the first thing that I want you to stop doing and change is to eat so many protein bars. Okay, so what I see sometimes is that people have even like 2 protein bars a day. And I get it that it's convenient, but you have to understand that eating a protein bar that, yes, maybe has 20 grams of protein, you can never compare that to a true protein source like a piece of chicken or a piece of red meat or fish or something like this. And we always have to think about the micronutrients too. What are these macros made of, right? Okay, cool, 20 grams of protein sounds like a really good deal. And I think it's fine to use it as a supplement every now and then. But if you now compare that protein bar that has 20 grams of protein to a piece of red meat, and we look at the micronutrients in there, you see how much more valuable that piece of meat really is. Also, meat is, of course, real whole food source, which you want to have most of the time, versus now a protein bar. Most of them have a long list of ingredients, and there are sugar alcohols that a lot of people cannot actually tolerate really well. Some people get stomach issues, digestive issues. They feel more constipated when they eat too many protein bars. So just because they're easy and convenient doesn't mean that they replace real food. And it's okay to have them sometimes. I have them too. I definitely do. Actually, well, in the month of September, I took an entire month off from protein bars, just to challenge myself, just to try something different, because I don't want to feel like I'm using something too much. So I'll see if I can do it. Yes, I did it. Now I've been having them. Now it's November, and in October I had a few. So I've been having them here and there, but I didn't have them the entire month of September. And I can still get plenty of protein from real foods. It can maybe take a little bit more planning, but we should get most of our foods from real whole sources. All right, so the next point is stop this idea that you have to eat 100% clean, like 100% clean. For example, I have heard people say, oh, I did so well with my diet and my macros and with everything until Friday, and then I had a bowl of ice cream, and now it's all ruined. Okay, so now if you think that you cannot have a single serving of ice cream every now and then, and if you did, you ruined your diet, you are thinking about this in the very wrong way. And this type of thinking might be the reason why you have been on a million different diets, because these diets require you to kick something out of your meals or out of your diet. And maybe it's sugar, maybe it's ice cream, maybe it's like all sweet things, maybe it's something else. And now you feel like you ate one of these things and holy shit, I just ruined it. And then you get disappointed, you get frustrated, you don't trust yourself anymore, you don't believe in yourself anymore, you just accept the fact that now I failed. Or even worse, you say I'm a failure, which is just bullshit. Just because you ate brownie or a little bit of ice cream doesn't mean that anything is ruined. So that's why I like macros, although I always say that mostly you should get your food, your calories, your macros from real whole foods. If you have something sweet, even daily, if you want to, this is a fine thing. It's okay, right? If you fit your numbers, you meet your numbers, you had a few hundred calories worth of something sweet, even if it's every day, that's totally cool. I do it myself too. I have a little bit of chocolate, or yesterday I had ice cream, and I like to bake something. Although I gotta say, I use a lot of like Simple Mills baking mixes if you want to bake something. So I would have maybe like a chocolate or like a muffin or brownie or something like that. And it's almost daily. And I have found that when I do that, then it actually prevents that massive binge that a lot of people experience. They're like, oh my God, I binged on this thing. And you binged on something because you were so restrictive, because you told yourself that having something once a week is a terrible thing, let alone a random day like Wednesday. Oh my God, I had it now, it's ruined. No, it's not. And understand that having this little nutritional relief, maybe, is something that can actually help you to stick with your plan, stick with your diet, and get you better results. So don't be so hard on yourself. It's unnecessary. You don't have to eat 100% clean all the time. Now, the next thing is you have to stop fearing natural sugars, okay? Yesterday, I talked to somebody who said that for a while she stopped eating carrots because of the sugar in there. Okay, this is crazy. What are we doing here? Why? Why do we think that sugar is so bad? Let me tell you, even if you have something that's not naturally occurring sugar, like I just told you in my previous example too, you have like little chocolate or ice cream, something like that. If you're an otherwise healthy person, you lift weights, then having this sugar is fine, not let alone naturally occurring sugars such as carrots or such as fruits or dates or honey. Let's not overthink this thing. You may have heard people saying that fruit is just basically candy because it is sugar. I mean, there's a big difference between sugar and candy and sugar and fruit. You can absolutely have naturally occurring sugars. You are fine. Yes, there's some people who are more sensitive to fructose. I've seen it. And they just have to eat different types of carbohydrates for a while. Maybe there's something going on with their gut and they have to work on that. I'm personally not an expert on that topic, but I know that some people are just a little bit more sensitive to fructose. But again, for most people, there's nothing bad in having some sugar, especially naturally occurring sugars. I love dates, I love honey, these sweeter types of things, and definitely not going to say no to like carrots because there is sugar in them. So use your common sense. Use your common sense. Always ask, did this come from nature? If it did, it is a good choice for you. The next thing you have to stop doing is being afraid of having two different carbohydrates on a plate. Okay, saw this recently. You can eat a very healthy, balanced diet, but still have fear of like, I cannot put rice and squash on my plate at the same time. I cannot have rice and beets on my plates on the same time. I cannot have rice and have, half a, I don't know, apple as a dessert because it's two types of carbs. You have to think about a little bit, where is this coming from? And this is common for those who have the keto diet background. Just for them, even eating any carbs at first is a big challenge because of the strong belief that there's something wrong in eating carbohydrates. No, there's nothing wrong in eating carbohydrates. And especially if you're physically active, if your goal is to build muscle, if you want to get stronger, if you want to have optimal thyroid health, if you want to have good hair, skin, nails, energy, no brain fog, you need some carbohydrates. And it's okay if there's two different kinds on your plate. Trust me, it is okay to have rice and another type of carb on your plate. You will likely notice that if you've never done this, and by the way, if you switch all your carbs to these less dense carbs, such as, all your rice is going to be substituted with cauliflower rice, or you never have potatoes anymore. You have just like broccoli and asparagus and call these carbs. I mean, there are carbs, of course, in them. But if you only have those lighter carbs, you may notice that your energy is not so good. And when you start adding in more dense carbs, such as rice or oats or even bread, then you notice that your energy is going to be probably better. You feel better between your meals. Your workouts are feeling better too. So think about it. If you're still doing it, like, I cannot have two carbs on my plate. Why is this? Where is this coming from? And what's the evidence that it's going to mess you up the way you think? It's not. It's probably going to be good for you. Okay, so the next thing that I want you to stop doing, well, not necessarily you have to stop doing it, but think about if you really need to do this. If you have a lot of smoothies, then consider having more solid meals and more chewable meals, right? So it can be popular. I don't see maybe as much anymore, but at some point I saw a lot of people just like smoothie for breakfast, smoothie for dinner, and maybe something else for lunch, or smoothie for breakfast, smoothie for lunch. So one thing is, our mouths are designed for chewing. And actually, when we use the muscles in our face, right, for chewing, that actually means that we will have better health. One thing it does actually is that improves our breathing ability. So we can talk a lot about that, how it's important to breathe more through our nose and not so much through our mouth. And there's some health consequences that happen when you breathe too much through your mouth. So always try to keep your mouth closed and breathe through your nose. So if you don't chew your food, that's going to start impacting that ability to your breathing. And that's also true for kids. Like if kids grow up eating only very soft things or only like drinks, their faces don't develop correctly, and they're going to have breathing issues later on. And then also their teething is not going to be correct. So there are a lot of issues that come from it, and also for adults, not just for kids. So use your mouth and jaw muscles something to do chew your food. Also, when you eat chewable food, you actually create more digestive enzymes. Your digestion might be better. And also, one thing is that when you chew your food instead of drinking all your foods, your fullness is going to so it's going to take a little bit longer to chew your food, obviously, compared to drinking your food. And when you give yourself a little bit more time, you chew, when you take your time, you start noticing fullness sooner. So you actually may need a little bit less food because you took your time, you're chewing, and you sense the feeling of fullness. So think about that. We have teeth for a reason. Let's use them. Let's use our jaw muscles for a reason. And that breathing, and that's actually a really big component of health. I haven't gotten into it on this podcast a lot, although I actually am a certified breathing coach too. But maybe I will. I haven't worked in this area for a long time, so maybe I'll find somebody who would be a good fit to talk about this topic, because the mouth breathing, nose breathing, this is actually a really important thing for our health, to breathe mostly through our nose. And like I said, eating too many soft foods or only drinking them actually impacts that ability. Okay, so the next thing, and this is a pretty big mistake that I see people make, I want you to stop thinking that you can only eat plain chicken or turkey, and now you're going to switch all your red meats and start eating chicken and turkey. So I get it where this is coming from. People want to have less calories, and then they eat just like plain turkey breast or chicken breast and not so much red meat anymore. But again, when we compare these things nutritionally, then red meat is more valuable. Again, one thing is to talk about macros. Yeah, you can get excellent macros from plain chicken breast. But when we talk about the micronutrients, the minerals inside of each of these meats, let's say red meat compared to chicken, you see that red meat is definitely better. Organ meats are, of course, highest in nutrients, but a lot of people don't eat them, cannot make them, eat them, whatever, okay. But don't kick out all that red meat just because it has a little bit more fat than your chicken or turkey has. Still have the red meat. I want to see it several times a week. And this is for your health, to get the vitamins and minerals that you really need. So red meat has more of them than chicken and turkey, or like, super light tuna and so on. So keep your red meat in there. You don't have to, maybe if you're in a deficit, maybe you're not able to eat like super fatty ribeyes, right? Okay, but find different cuts of red meat that are leaner, and still have them several times a week. Okay, now the next thing is stop taking a lot of supplements for digestion before addressing the way you eat. Okay, so if somebody has digestive issues, like constipation or a lot of gas, bloating, then the first thought is like, okay, what do I have to take? And this reaction is, of course, for any health issue, like, okay, I feel kind of slow. It's like, what do I have to take? What do I have to take for this and that and third thing? Well, let me grab this thing on Amazon. Everybody's using it. It looks like a good thing. So let me get this supplement. But first, why don't we look at how we are eating? So speaking about the digestion specifically right now, how are we eating? Are we eating always rushed? Are we eating in a noisy environment? Are we eating at our computer? A lot of you do. Are we eating, at the desk or like doing something else? So this is something that actually could be improved and will improve your digestion too. If you actually sit down and relax, then you're going to digest better. So you've heard we talk about the sympathetic and parasympathetic mode, right? So there's the two branches of your autonomic nervous system. Sympathetic is the one that's very activating. You're like on high alert. You are, like you are in this fight or flight state, right? Which is where most of us are, unfortunately, too much of the time. And then the other branch of it is the parasympathetic, and this is called rest and digest. So think about it, rest and digest, right? So when we are in this parasympathetic, we are more relaxed, we are more calm, we're settled, and we encourage the normal digestion. We don't have normal digestion probably when we are in fight or flight. So what puts you in this fight or flight is exactly this: working at your desk, reading a stressful email, watching stressful news, fighting with somebody. This is far from rest and digest. So you have to get yourself to this state before you start eating. And you can do very simple things. You can do some humming before you eat. You can do some slow breathing before you get to your meal. And that actually helps you with normal stomach acid production. That helps you with overall digestion. So think about that before you reach for like another supplement. What will save me? Think first, how are you eating? What is the environment like? And this can help to fix a lot of issues. Also want to say here, chew your food a lot until it's like really liquid in your mouth before you swallow it. This will also help you to digest your food better. Okay, and last one that I want you to stop doing is asking, what are some things that I can eat on the go, or give me some quick meal ideas because I never had time. Okay, so I understand that the lifestyle is super busy, but why is it so freaking busy? Why is it that we don't have time to have breakfast, like even 10 minutes in the morning, that we have to eat like smoothies in the car? Or like grab something. There we are, like grabbing another protein bar in the smoothie to quickly like inhale in the car. So this type of stuff is just showing how crazy your lifestyle is. And you just, again, you are more in this fight or flight activated state, and you are not in this calm and relaxed state where you want to be in order to have better blood sugar balance, better digestive health, just more relaxed state overall. So if you always think, give me a recipe of something that I can quickly eat in the car, see, why do you even have to eat in the car in the first place? Is there something that you can do about your lifestyle? See, where are you spending your time? Where could you get like 10 or 15 minutes back so you can sit down and eat a meal? This is so individual, and I can't tell, what you have to change about your life. This is not me, I can't tell you that, but just take a look at your own lifestyle and see, what is it? What's the big fire that you have to put out all the time, that you cannot have 15 minutes for yourself and for your meals? So if you find that 15 minutes for yourself and for eating in a calm state and calm environment, then you're not going to need like grab stuff on the go and like quick 2-minute meals. Just think about it. What's the rush? What's the rush here? And can I calm down? And can I do something that's supportive of my health and my well-being? And it's almost like you also have to treat yourself well, because if you're always like rushing and running out the door, you're not really taking care of yourself, right? It's always, you're probably putting everybody else first and do things for them and just running around. And then you feel like, I have all these health problems and weight problems. Well, maybe something is there. Maybe you're not really taking care of yourself, taking time for yourself. Okay, so this is all. Shorter episode today, but think about all these things that I told you about today. See where you can make improvements and see if your health and your energy start to improve, and if your weight loss and fat loss will get easier as well. All right, this is all I have for you today. Thank you so much, and I'll see you in the next episode. Take care.